Hello. Dear viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel, Anesthesia with Babar. In this video, I will discuss about the indications and contraindications of epidural anesthesia. Means that, when it should be used and when it should be avoided. Let's start. Epidural anesthesia. It is a type of regional block in which local anesthetic is injected into the epidural space around the spinal cord to numb the lower part of the body and relieve pain, especially during childbirth or surgery. Now the indications of epidural anesthesia. Indications are divided in four main categories. First one is obstetrics use. Second, surgical. Third one is pain management, and fourth one is therapeutic use. Let's go to explain each category. First one, obstetrics use, which includes labor analgesia, pain relief during normal vaginal delivery, cesarean section as the primary anesthetic or for postoperative pain control, instrumental delivery, means forceps or vacuum assisted, and perineal repair following childbirth. Second one is surgical indications, which includes surgeries below the upper abdomen, especially lower abdominal surgeries. For example, hernia repair, appendectomy, gynecologic procedures, pelvic and urologic surgeries, prostatectomy, hysterectomy, lower limb surgeries. For example, orthopedic or vascular procedures, perineal and anorectal surgeries, hemorrhoidectomy, fistulectomy, and finally, thoracic surgeries, thoracic epidural for intra and postoperative pain relief. Third one is pain management indications, which includes postoperative analgesia, especially after major abdominal or thoracic surgery, chronic pain syndromes, for example cancer pain and neuropathic pain. Next one, trauma pain control, for example multiple rib fractures. Fourth one is therapeutic indications, which includes diagnostic or therapeutic sympathetic blockade, especially for ischemic limb pain. Next one is facilitation of postoperative physiotherapy by providing continuous analgesia. Contraindications. Epidural anesthesia is generally safe and effective, but there are several absolute and relative contraindications that must be considered before administration. First one is absolute contraindications. These are conditions where epidural anesthesia must not be performed, because of serious risk to the patient, which includes patient refusal. It is the most important absolute contraindication. Informed consent is mandatory. Next, infection at the site of injection. This is also important. There is a risk of introducing infection into the epidural space, like epidural abscess or meningitis. Third one is severe hypovolemia. This can lead to severe hypotension after sympathetic blockade. Fourth one is coagulopathy, bleeding disorders. For example, thrombocytopenia, hemophilia, DIC, or anticoagulant therapy, which have a risk of epidural hematoma. Fifth one is raised intracranial pressure. Last one is allergy to local anesthetics. Second one is relative contraindications. Epidural anesthesia may be performed with caution if benefits outweigh the risks. Relative contraindications include sepsis, systemic infection, risk of spreading infection to the CNS. Second, uncooperative or mentally unstable patient, difficulty maintaining stillness during the procedure. Third one is anatomic abnormalities of spine. For example, scoliosis, previous spinal surgery, spinal deformity. Fourth one is severe cardiovascular disease, for example aortic stenosis, in which patient may not tolerate drop in blood pressure. Last one is hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy. So, that's a quick overview of the indications and contraindications of epidural anesthesia. Thanks for watching.